We're going to start on meal 3 now. That's our breakfast egg casserole served with fried potatoes and onions. So we're going to start by getting our sausage cooked. We're going to do a ½ pound of Italian sausage because we're going to save half of it for meal 4. We're going to start by browning off the ½ pound of sausage. While that's cooking, I'm going to dice up my mushrooms and green peppers. You should have plenty of onions if you want to put onions in your breakfast casserole. So while the sausage is browning, I'll be cutting up my vegetables, and we're going to get that egg casserole in the oven, and then we'll deal with the fried potatoes and onions. So we've got our sausage cooked. We're going to continue on with the rest of the ingredients. I got my mushrooms diced up here. I've got my green peppers. I'm going to cut up some of this ham. Just rolled it up. If it's less of the sliced ham left over, just rolled it up. Just kind of chiffonade it. You can chop it up however you'd like, but just so it's kind of smaller pieces in there. We're going to put all of our toppings into the casserole first. And then we're going to make our custard. And now this custard is going to be exactly like the custard that we made in bin 10 for the quiche. We did our ham and Asiago cheese quiche. This is the exact same custard recipe that we're going to be doing for that. There's our ½ pound of sausage that we cooked off. Remember, save the other ½ pound for your penne pasta for meal 4. Gonna sprinkle some cheese in here, and then we'll finish up our custard. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese, and we're gonna put a little bit more on the top of it after it starts to set. We'll pull it back out and top the top of it with cheese. This is probably a little bit more than you need for 4 servings, but this is a really nice leftover item because you can pop it in the microwave in the morning for a quick breakfast. So I went ahead and made a larger casserole dish just so that we'd have extra so that my husband and I could do that for a breakfast on the run. So now for the custard, we're going to take 7 large eggs, whip those, mix in a 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, salt, pepper, and nutmeg. This custard recipe is very versatile. You can use this for any egg casserole or quiche. This same custard recipe can be used for sweet custard pies. Just omit the salt and pepper and add sugar, syrup, honey, whatever you'd like to sweeten it with instead. Just make sure everything's pushed down in there. So this is going to go in the oven and bake. When your casserole starts to set, it will no longer jiggle on you. Your exteriors are going to start to set up, and you might just have a little small pocket in the middle that is wiggling. That's when you want to pull it out, put this cheese on the top, and as soon as that middle is set, no longer jiggly, then you're going to pull it out of the oven. You can also check the temp for 145 if you want, but normally, like I said, if that middle is set, you are good to go. Now, while our casserole is baking, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the fried potatoes and onions. I had a little bit of red onion and a little bit of white onion left. I didn't even have to get into the onion I purchased for this bin. So here we have the potatoes that we baked in meal 1. I've had those in the refrigerator chilling. So I'm going to now just kind of cut those in half. See how nice of a cut they make. Whenever you bake these, right before you turn them into fried potatoes and onions, I just don't think they cook as well, and they don't cut as well, and they usually become very mushy. So I just like to pre-bake them. These potatoes are seasoned, so we're going to be careful when we're seasoning everything, but we'll start with the onions, then we'll throw in the potatoes, and just kind of fry everything in some oil. Bacon grease, if you have it, would be nice. So I'm going to start with the onions. I'm going to let those go for a couple minutes. A little salt and pepper with those. I'm going to get the skillet nice and hot. I'm going to get a little bit of caramelization on these onions. Then I'm going to add in the baked potatoes here. What I'm going to do too, I'm going to actually then put them in the oven. I'm going to leave them in the oven for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to bring them out and stir them. One thing with these fried potatoes, to get that nice crispy edge on them, you don't want to stir them too much. They got to have the heat. So I'm actually, since our oven's on, we're going to kind of cook them on the stovetop and then in the oven. That way they're going to get nice and crispy, and you don't have to babysit them as much, okay? So we're going to give the onions just a little bit. And then we'll throw in our potatoes, hit it with a touch more salt and pepper. And after our skillet gets nice and hot again, after I put these in, I'm gonna throw it all in the oven. We'll sprinkle a little more cheese on that and pop it right back in the oven. It's almost completely set in the middle. All right, so meal 3, that is our breakfast egg casserole with fried potatoes and onions. The breakfast casserole, sausage, ham, green pepper and mushrooms and shredded cheddar cheese in that. Who doesn't love breakfast for dinner? It always makes for an inexpensive meal. So throw some ketchup out there on the table for those fried potatoes and onions, and you've got some leftover breakfast egg casserole for the next couple of mornings. So awesome. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate your watching. Thank you. Hot Mom's Dinner Club.